What is going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Guys, wanted to bring you a video here grading the 2023 rookies for the Indianapolis Colts. We do this typically at the end of every year, so I wanted to kind of grade these guys as they went forward. We'll do a couple that played. Remember, this was such a big draft class for Indianapolis, and I gotta say about half of them did not play. So we'll get a chance to kind of talk about that as well. Let's go ahead and start first. Anthony Richardson, for the limited time that we did get to see him play. Now, again, take the bias of him not playing out of it. Let's talk about the 10 quarters of football that we actually got to watch Anthony Richardson play and how he looked, right? I'm going to say this, guys, from the perspective of what we thought Anthony Richardson would be. I think by most accounts, most people would tell you that Anthony Richardson impressed them beyond their expectations, because when it came to Anthony Richardson, we had the issues, right, of is he accurate? Is he going to be able to read an NFL defense? Is he going to be able to make plays? And remember, in 10 quarters of football, this kid had 7 touchdowns. 7 touchdowns. And I think that he has all the ability in the world to make this team and this offense that much more elite. I'm going to give Anthony Richardson for just the 10 quarters of football that he played in, I'm going to give him a B+, because I'm willing to go to the B+ simply due to the fact that I did not expect Anthony Richardson to look as poised and as confident with the football in his hands at this level that quickly, this early. So that's what I would say about that. Again, we didn't get to see him all year, but for the limited time we got to see him, I think everyone has a general understanding of how good Anthony Richardson could actually become if he stays healthy. Let's go ahead and go to the next pick. Juju Brents. Juju Brents, who didn't start at the beginning of the year and then got thrown in game 3 because the Indianapolis Colts needed a fresh start at corner. And Juju has been a good lock for the Indianapolis Colts since. And, you know, he had that injury where he missed 6 weeks, but Juju Brents, for the, I'd assume 8 or 9 games that he did play in, Julius Brents was a very good corner for Indy. I'm going to go with, me personally, I think it's going to go down as an A- for me. I still think there's a lot of room left to be open for Juju Brents in his game. I really do think there's a lot more opportunities for him to grow. But I think what you saw is Juju Brents could be a guy that legitimately could be your starting corner 1 for the next decade. I actually legitimately think that is true. And given the fact that he was a rookie, and given the fact that he was thrown into the situation, had no off season, all of this stuff, and was still able to go out right away and make a difference for Indy, I'll give that an A-. And got to play and played for more than half the year. Okay, next one, Josh Downs. I will go ahead and also give Josh Downs an A- because Josh Downs broke the receiving record for rookies in Colts franchise history. This is a guy that a lot of people had high expectations with going into the season, and he delivered when they targeted him. Josh Downs showed you that when he had the ball in his hands, Duke could get open. and the dude can make some plays. And I really like Josh Downs and what he's able to do. And I really hope that as we move on into the system, that we're able to start finding Josh Downs more frequently because he is such a great player. These top three, I think Ballard really nailed it. I really did. And again, Anthony Richardson got hurt, and that's unfortunate. Juju had a couple of times being hurt. That's unfortunate. And Josh Downs just wasn't utilized in the system well because of Gardner Minshew. So really, this was a great first three picks here for Indianapolis. Next one, you go to Blake Freeland. I'm willing to give it a C. I'm willing to give it a C. I think that when Blake Freeland started early in the year, Blake Freeland was actually a somewhat serviceable right tackle. Again, he was not great by any stretch, but in his first couple games as a starter, Blake Freeland did not play bad for a rookie right tackle who doesn't play the position very much and has virtually no experience with it going into this year. So for Blake Freeland to be asked to do that, given and all the players he had to face, man, I will give him a C because he's been asked to do a lot. So I'm willing to give him that. Adetomiwa, basically a healthy scratch for the majority of the year. I don't know what I can really grade it. I don't know if this is really fair to say. I'll tell you what, I think a lot of people had really high expectations for Adetomiwa to be able to play a little this year, and he did not. And I'd say probably end up giving him a D just because there were a few times that he did play on special teams and did have a few chances to be able to make some plays in the middle of the season when we had some defensive line injuries. But other than that, I would say wasn't overall impressed. I thought there was going to be a lot more out of Adetomiwa for that reason. Darius Rush, I mean, what an F of a pick, right? I mean, we thought that was maybe the steal of the whole draft when it came down to it, because we thought Darius Rush was going to be, competing for the starting cornerback position, and it took one preseason game it basically took one or two preseason games for Chris Ballard to realize, yeah, that was a mistake, and he ended up getting cut. So classic F there for Darius Rush. Daniel Scott, again, I can't really say anything about this pick because he was going to be a special teams guy, got hurt. I can't really say anything about the pick because he never really got the chance to be able to play this year. Will Mallory, I'll tell you what, I will give Will Mallory a B-, and the only reason I'm giving him a B- is because when he had the ball in his hands, he showed you how good he actually can be. I think that this is a kid that needs to get more snaps next year for Indianapolis because he was a great receiver for the Indianapolis Colts, and he just wasn't targeted a lot by Gardner Minshew. So I'm willing to give a B- just simply because the production that you did see from him showed you once again that he is capable of being a big play magnet. Evan Hall, again, can't really say anything about it. He didn't get a chance to really do anything, so I can't really grade that. Titus Leo, can't really say anything about that. He, again, did not have a chance. Basically was, virtually cut from the team, given everything. And Jake Witt, same thing. Jake Witt, I can't say anything on that. But Jalen Jones, I am willing to give a, honestly, I'll give it a B- for that one too. Because again, given his circumstance, he was a 7th round draft pick, a rookie corner, and was again forced into the action because you had so many injuries come about, right? And he had to play and he had to show his stuff. And he was one of the few guys that actually had an off season. He was one of the only guys that was actually available because he wasn't injured. And, you know, there were multiple times where Jalen Jones had some really good plays for Indianapolis. And albeit he wasn't great this year, but there was a given point at one time when, of all the rookie cornerbacks in the league through the mid part of the season, Jalen Jones was giving up was one of the best rookie corners at, I think it was reception percentage of anyone in all of the NFL when it came to rookie corners. So Jalen Jones definitely outlived the expectation that there really was no expectation of Jalen Jones. We didn't know if he'd even make the roster. And here we are now talking about Jalen Jones, and we're wondering, is he going to be a starter next year? Most likely not. But we know that Jalen Jones, if he keeps on the progress that he's on, no doubt this dude is going to remain on the Indianapolis Colts roster for many years to come, and he will be a very good depth piece for the Indianapolis Colts moving forward. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. Let me know your thoughts, your grades for the 2023 draft class. Or where there's some A's, B's, C's, D's, and F's, let me know. But that's going to do it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, go Colts.